Today is a Saturday, July 12, 2025. UN, nearly 800 Palestinians killed while seeking aid in Gaza as Israeli attacks intensify. Dozens more dead today, U.S. citizen among victims of Israeli settler violence in West Bank. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepened on Friday as Israeli forces reportedly killed dozens of Palestinians waiting for food aid, adding to the nearly 800 similar deaths over the past 6 weeks, according to a United Nations statement. Gaza hospitals confirmed that at least 60 Palestinians were killed since dawn, including 27 aid seekers, and over 180 others were wounded in continued Israeli raids. The UN said at least 10 Palestinians were killed on Friday alone while waiting in line for food rations in Gaza. Since the war began, the Gaza Health Ministry reports more than 57,762 people killed and 137,656 wounded by Israeli military actions. On the Israeli side, the October 7, 2023, attacks killed 1,139 people and saw over 200 taken captive. Gaza aid centers turn into zones of death. What was once considered a lifeline for Gaza's starving population has now become a source of terror. Food distribution centers, under the supervision of the Global Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, have witnessed escalating violence. The UN estimates nearly 800 Palestinians have died at these sites, as Israeli forces continue operations that Israel describes as necessary security measures. Food distribution has become progressively more dangerous, the UN said, noting that only the most desperate now risk venturing to these centers amid constant bombardment. West Bank, U.S. citizen killed by Israeli settlers. Meanwhile, violence in the occupied West Bank has also intensified. Israeli settlers, often accompanied by soldiers, have escalated attacks against Palestinians. On Friday, armed settlers attacked the town of Sinjail, north of Ramallah, where they reportedly beat a Palestinian American, Seif al-Din Muslat, to death after surrounding him for hours and blocking paramedics from helping him. Muslat, who was born in Florida and had traveled to visit family in June, was described by his relatives as a kind, generous young man deeply connected to his heritage. His family called on the U.S. State Department to lead an immediate investigation into his death and hold the perpetrators accountable. Human rights groups have labeled these settler attacks as state-sponsored violence, given the military's role in detaining Palestinians defending their homes rather than stopping the attackers. At least 350 Palestinians have been injured by settlers since January 2025, with attacks this year already surpassing 2024's record. Caire condemns racist settler violence. The Council on American Islamic Relations, Caire, strongly condemned the killing of Muslat, calling it the latest killing of an American citizen by illegal Israeli settlers or soldiers. Caire criticized the U.S. government for failing to hold Israel accountable, pointing to previous incidents like the 2022 killing of journalist Shireen Abu Akleh and other American victims. Historical context: decades of displacement. According to Rami Kauri, a fellow at the American University of Beirut, the mass displacement of Palestinians is not a new phenomenon but rather a continuation of decades-long Israeli policy. He noted that the forced relocation of Palestinians and denial of humanitarian aid forms part of what he called a genocide process, supported historically by the UK and US. Israel has always tried to push as many Palestinians out as possible to expand its control, Kauri said. He added that Israel's blocking of aid into Gaza underscores the deliberate nature of the humanitarian catastrophe. Israeli leadership celebrates destruction. In a provocative move, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz shared an image of the ruins of Gaza on social media, captioning it, "After Rafah, Beit Hanun." Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city, has already been almost completely destroyed by Israeli bombardment. Israeli authorities reportedly plan to displace remaining Palestinians from northern Gaza into makeshift camps built on the ruins of Rafah. This latest wave of violence, humanitarian catastrophe, and settler attacks underlines the worsening crisis in both Gaza and the West Bank, drawing renewed international scrutiny and calls for accountability. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel.